Howdy. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down and learn some new fly patterns with me. Today's subject, we're going to be covering midges for tailwaters. To start off with, we're going to be starting with what I like to call the wire Midge Emerger. What you're going to be seeing throughout the show is the bird's eye view, or just about exactly what I'm seeing. And that's all made possible by the POV camera, which stands for point of view. So you can see just how valuable this camera is. Let's get started. For the hook, we're going to be using a standard curved hook, which is generally used for, well, midges, scuds, and caddis larvae. To start off with, we'll just take our thread and we'll start in the thorax here and just wrap down a thread base here. What that's going to do is allow the wire to grab onto it versus the slick surface of just the hook. Now, then we're going to take some ultra wire. Since midges are mainly black, or should I say that's what anglers mainly use, we're going to use some black ultra wire here. So I'll cut a hunk of this stuff off, get it back in there, and just so you don't ruin your scissors, it helps if you go to the back of your scissors when you cut it versus using the tip. We'll lay our wire on here and just wrap back onto it. The nice thing about this ultra wire, it comes in numerous colors as well as sizes. So you can tie your midges anywhere from a size 12 down to a 24 and not have any problem at all. So we're going to wrap this wire forward so each wrap is just snug right up against the previous one we've done. And if you want to get a little creative, you can add just a little bit of a gap and also tie in a piece of crystal hair and just lay that in between each ribbing. And what that'll do is give you a little more of a sparkle Midge Emerger. Now we get this up to the thorax, and that ought to do it. And we're going to tie it off. Again, we're going to cut at the base, back of the scissors when we cut this off. And just make sure it's tied in there real good. And since that little hunk of wire is standing up, we'll just take our fingernail and kind of smash it down. Next, what we're going to do is tie in our underwing. For that, we're just going to take a little bit of ice dubbing. Since this is black, we'll just use the gray. I'll just come in here and just grab a few fibers, pull it out, set the rest of it to the side, even up, kind of twist it so it hangs together, come in, trim it. That way I have a nice tie-in point. Tie that in towards the back and pull out any loose fibers that I might have. For the overwing, we're going to tie in some CDC. For that, we're going to use the natural gray color. And for this particular one, we're going to take probably, oh, let's say 3. 3 is a good number. We'll take 3 of these feathers, even up the tips, kind of bunch it up. So we have a nice little wing here. We're going to bring it up and measure it so it goes to about the hook point or the hook barb. Once it's done that, we're going to come in, tie it down. Bring in our scissors, cut the excess off. And we're going to want that wing to kind of splay out a little bit. And then we're going to come in and just cut that underwing of the eye stubbing just a hair longer than that CDC. There we go. That way it's just a little more visible. Since we're working on a curved hook, what we're going to do is just stand it up a little bit. That just makes life a whole lot easier. What we're going to do is add a soft hackle to it. And for that, what we're going to use is some partridge. So I'm going to take a partridge feather. What I'm going to do is take some real fine tip scissors like this, produced by Stonefly, come in and kind of push into my finger, snip, and I cut that center stem out of the partridge, creating a V. What I'm going to do is just stroke back several of the fibers, because I don't want a whole lot of this on my fly. That ought to be about enough. What I'm going to do is measure the length of it. I basically want the hackle to go back to the end of the hook right here. So I hold it on the side towards me. What I'm going to do is, what I just did right there was I took my bobbin and I gave it a quick little tug. And what that does is takes the memory out of the thread. That way you have a lot better control over it. Now what I'm doing is pinching the hackle against the hook shank. I'm going to come over the top. And as I do that, you can see the thread force the feathers over the top and down and around the other side. Once I get to the other side, I'm going to leave my thumb against the hook shank, but I let go with my index finger, and now I'm going to re-grab it again. And as I do that, I'm going to continue on with my thread, on around, and then take several more turns. And what I did was just create a soft hackle that went all the way around my fly. This basic technique can be used for any type of soft hackle, whether you're using partridge, grouse, a hen neck, or even mallard or guinea. Cut off our excess. Make sure it's tied in there good. And since we made that just a little bit longer than I'd cut my V out, we have that center stem in there. So we just kind of pull that out away from the rest of the fibers, grab it. You can either cut it or you just pop it on out. Now with the natural modeling of the partridge, we have a nice looking wet fly here. To finish things off, we're going to dub a little black head on here. And for that, we're going to use microfine dubbing. So we'll come in here. What I'm going to be using is some trico dubbing. And the trico dubbing has about 5 different colors blended in it. So it won't be jet black, but it'll be kind of a bronzy black color. So we'll get some dubbing on our thread here. Just get a little bit. And just to tighten the dubbing up quite a bit more, I'm just going to take some dubbing wax and just rub it across my finger, mix my fingers up a little bit, and I'll go right back over that dubbing, and you can see just how much tighter that dubbing gets. And that's very important when you're tying midges, because when we're talking midges, we're talking size 18, 20, 22, 24s. And that's generally what these size flies are going to be tied in. So we dub our head, and then we're going to be ready to whip finish this thing off. Also, another choice is to put a bead head on here first if you want. Use metal or even a glass bead. Now that we have the fly complete, this is what I like to call my wire Midge Emerger.